Hi, I'm Charlie Fripp from IT News Africa, and today we're talking to Craig Stevens, the Principal Solutions Manager for SAS. Welcome.
Thank you.
SAS has been around since 1976. What do you ascribe the success to?
There are a number of factors, and I think, in the words of our CEO, Dr. Jim Goodnight, the first is our customers. Okay, we believe strongly in delivering business value to our customers, and that is also reflected in how the software is licensed. If customers are not happy with the software, they would stop continuing to use it, and SAS would essentially lose revenue. So from SAS's perspective, number one is value to our customers.
Yeah.
And the second is Dr. Jim Goodnight feels very strongly about the people as well. So SAS has been voted the number one company to work for on numerous occasions in recent years, and likewise here in South Africa as well.
Okay. On top of that, you mentioned the products and services and the people. What is SAS's most influential or most successful service?
There are a number, and going back to the original statement, is delivering business value. So whether that business value be embedded through our fraud and risk solutions, through our marketing solutions, through our financial solutions as well, mining and manufacturing as well. So SAS covers a very broad area of industry, and we have successes in all of those areas as well. So, but at the heart of all of our solutions is SAS analytics, and that is what gives the value to our software, regardless of industry.
Okay. And also touching on that, for those that don't know, what exactly is business analytics? Because SAS is a major player in that field. So what exactly is business analytics?
So the term business analytics has been coined in recent years, which is, let's say, it is a combination of analytics and as well as let's call it traditional BI from that perspective. So the idea is to deliver analytics through solving business problems. So on SAS's perspective, there is an entire website devoted to business analytics. And business analytics doesn't just cover analytics, it also covers the data management component, because if you don't have data, you don't have any analytics, and then as well as the ability to present that information in a meaningful way that a person can make a business decision. Otherwise, all you're doing is throwing out numbers to people, and they need to be able to react on that.
Okay. And then why should potential clients make use of SAS?
SAS's core focus is on delivering and solving business problems. We want to be the number one company that you come to when you have a business problem to solve. So although this is all underpinned with technology, we are in the business of solving problems. That alone should make sufficient justification for you to consider SAS and the use of SAS throughout your organization.
Okay. And then you just came out of a session at the Tech Demo Africa regarding big data.
Right.
What are your views or your impressions on big data? Should we take the big out of data, or what's your views?
Sure. To be honest and quite frank, I don't think we've even scratched the surface of what big data is and where it's really heading to. And the panel discussion was very interesting in terms of all about customer experience, to enhancing the customer experience. Now, if we take some of the common trends of big data, being everyone looks at the volume, the variety, and the velocity from that side as determining what big data is. And particularly in the South African and African market, people are scratching on looking at social media to try, so they take their current data as there is, and let's add some external data, social media, because it's easy, everyone's doing it, and then they call it big data. But if we take where things are actually going now, take 12-year-olds with smartphones, okay, they are permanently connected. They are generating so much data through their movements, their usage of apps now. Tapping into that data is where the value is going to lie. So for example, just imagine if the JRA had access to all the data generated by Waze. Imagine how more efficient they could actually start deploying resources instead of stopping people on the side of the road. They can actually do proper traffic control. So that is starting to hit the realms of big data. Now, they can barely process their current internal data. So to them, something like that could be big data. So it's very, very wide. But I think, once the social media thing dies down, sensor data, location-based data is going to be the next major wave that we're going to see in this country. And people, it's actually quite strange between you and I. We've got the Protection of Information Act. We don't want people to know what our data is. But the gentleman on stage moaned about he doesn't get the service that he needs when he phones in. And for young kids as well, they just display their data all over the show, Facebook, WhatsApp, wherever. They just carry on, and I think in Europe, in some countries, they're even looking at legislation and that people, I'll be happy to sell you my data if it's gonna offer me a better service, if it's gonna offer me a competitive marketing product that I require, not what you want to sell. And I think this is where the big benefits of big data are going to come into play going forward.
Okay. Is Africa on par with the rest of the world when it comes to big data, or like most things in telecommunications, are we lagging a little bit behind?
From a technology perspective, I don't think we're lacking. I think it's from an innovative perspective. What I mean by this, a telco in Europe recently tried to get some additional competitive information about the performance of their competitor network. So they bought a whole bunch of their competitors' handsets, shoved them in vans, and drove these thousands of phones around the country with a little app that collects data. What's the internet speed, what's the call drop rate, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That's the type of thinking that needs to come forward. How do I can process big data. We have solutions to process this stuff. Now let me think about something innovative that I can do. So with that information, they knew in this little area there's a high call drop rate, so they ran a marketing campaign offering better call service and less dropped calls in a particular region. Other one may be internet speed, offer them faster internet access. So those are the types of things that can start coming out with the use of big data.
Okay, so it all comes down to innovation pretty much.
Absolutely.
And just the management of data pretty much.
Yeah, because and something else as well, just on touching on that big data thing, it's not about the traditional sense of I've got to manage data, I've got to acquire it, I've got to store it, I've got to classify it. That information that they collected is going to be absolutely useless in 6 months' time. Competitors would have erected other masks and so on and so forth. So why do you want to store it? Why do you want to use expensive technologies? And so people, I say, in essence, are creating their own big data problem through wanting to manage and to store it. We've got to think of it as transient. This big data thing is transient data. It's valid at a moment in time. Maybe I want to summarize and store the end result of what I collected, so I don't reinvent the wheel, but it's not about storing it, it's about determining what data is relevant at that point in time.
And that's where SAS comes in.
And that's where SAS comes in with analytics.
There we
so
go.
Taking in all of that data, stream it, perform some sort of analytics on it, whether it be a scoring, a forecasting, or so on, what data is relevant, and that can go through your standard data management practices from that side.
Okay, excellent. Craig, thank you
Pleasure.
so much.
Great
Thank you.
chatting to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye.